Hi, I'm Russ Smidt, Senior Pastor at Life Presbyterian Church in Gungahlin. Gungahlin's in the northwestern suburbs of Canberra. I've been a Presbyterian pastor for 12 years and in my current role as a Senior Pastor for 7 years. I started taking steps towards gospel work from the moment I became a Christian. When I was 18, I was just convicted that there was nothing more important than making Jesus known. And becoming a Christian just made me completely rethink where my life was headed. As I went on to university, during those years of being involved in different ministries, developing skills in that, but certainly a growing conviction of wanting to give my life to making Jesus known wherever I was. After I'd worked as a graduate engineer for 2 years, I took on the opportunity of an MTS apprenticeship. I was 25 at the time. I did MTS at an Anglican church in Sydney, St Paul's, Carlingford, and there I was involved in university campus ministry and a church plant. Initially, I was hesitant about doing MTS. I was pretty convicted of a gospel work pathway and thought I had enough ministry experience under my belt and knew that that's what I wanted to do, that I just wanted to get on with it. But my wife and I were encouraged to do MTS so that we had a kind of full-time ministry experience and framework on which we could hang the formation that we would receive at Bible college. And that was so true. There were lessons that we learned on MTS that were really valuable then, but continue to be valuable now. Learning how to do relationships in a team. It was a time of strengthening a relationship between my wife and I as we did ministry together. And it just continued to stir in me and grow in me this conviction for making Jesus known in the world. That's one of the challenges, really, of being a senior pastor. It can sometimes feel like you're not really on the front line of personal discipleship or evangelism. You've got to keep being really deliberate about it. But there's a real privilege and joy in being responsible for coordinating a diverse group of people, other pastors and elders and church leaders, congregation members, in under God seeing them live out the Great Commission. It is a real privilege and joy to see that. One of the personal costs that I have felt in being a senior pastor is that not being on the front line, and so sometimes feeling like you're just not very effective, particularly on the days when you're distracted in doing bits of the role that need to be done that are not so fun. Why would you want to be a senior pastor? It's probably not something that we really aspire to, that particular people, after being doing ministry for a while, have the opportunity and have the particular skill set for giving it a go. Who is it suited for? Well, really you've got to have those basic ministry skills of preaching and pastoring and discipleship, have them under your belt, because as a senior pastor, it feels like you've got to come at those always a little bit underprepared. You can't spend as much time on those things as you wish you could. And the other particular skill is being able to work with people and lead people. And for me, that's an approach of, I kind of have a mentoring approach of seeing other people grown and equipped for doing the role that God has placed them in. But I think the starting place for any gospel work is an apprenticeship. I'm so glad that many years ago I did one. One of the things that particularly helped me with was I thought a couple of different ministry pathways were for me, but in my time in MTS could see that, it wasn't. And so here I'm really glad that God has got me in this particular role. And even more so, I'm excited that you are checking out MTS for yourself.